Hey, this is Derek with Battlefield Ukraine. I have a very special guest today. I'm talking with my friend Yevheniia Komissarova, who joins us from Kharkiv. Yevheniia, how are you doing today?
Thanks. Everything is fine. I'm happy to join this interview, and I'm happy to answer your questions and have a chat with you.
So, you live in Kharkiv. Tell me a little bit about Kharkiv.
Yeah, I live in Kharkiv, and I was born here, and I was living in it since I was born, and I have my family here, my friends here, and for example, many people were asking me then the war began, yeah. Full-scale invasion, and they were asking me, why don't you just move to the west of Ukraine, for example, in Lviv or Ivano-Frankivsk? We have pretty much cities in the west of Ukraine, but I just say no. I would not do it because I love Kharkiv. Even if we get some kind of hard situation here, and we have it sometimes. Yep, bombings and so on. But I don't want to leave it. And I was speaking with many people who left Kharkiv, and they're missing it so much. And I can understand them because it's like a part of your heart, and you just you're taking it away, and it is very sad. And people leave their favorite place, their favorite city, and we have a lot of people here attending some events, Halloween holiday, yeah, Halloween, and there were a lot of people, and some people just say, "Oh, it is a city like near to Russia." Yep, we have a border with Russia, and it's in 30 kilometers, if I'm not mistaken. And it is very close, but still we have a live here, like Kharkiv is living, and um, I don't think that I'm going to leave it, even if like things are getting very hard. So that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, Kharkiv is living. I love that. So, you mentioned your proximity to Russia. You're about 30 kilometers from the border with Russia. I know you're not far from, um, the zero line east of Kharkiv, in Kupiansk area. What? I mean, I can't imagine being an American, being that close to a full-scale ground war.
As for me, I live on the south part of Kharkiv. It is not very close to the city center, but it's not on the like area closer to Russia, and I can say that this district is called Saltivka. We have North Saltivka, which is very close to Russia, and it was bombed on the first week. It was totally destroyed. You have seen these awful pictures, and it is very close to this road which connects, which goes from Belgorod, and it goes past North Saltivka, and I have friends from here, and their buildings, their home was just totally destroyed. But I live on South Saltivka, and sometimes I could just say, it is okay, and it is just usual area, very cool area. But if we speak about the summer of 2025, then we had a huge, a massive drone attack, and it was exactly in my district, and it was 100 meters away from my house. And as you know, I was posting a special fundraiser, yeah, donations to help me cover like a window. And now it is replaced, and everything is okay. But it still was. It was terrible, and I was terrified because then the war began. I would say that every person who lives in Kharkiv experienced it, and they could understand what is happening. Like all parts of Kharkiv, they were under attacks. So now I can say we have pretty calm living and peaceful, but sometimes, of course, we have some kind of drone attacks. And recently, I was reading about a new Russian invention, like using FPV drones to control Shahad drones. If I'm saying it right, they use it in connection, so they help it going closer to the city. So that's why some Ukrainian and especially Kharkiv city livers, how they scared about it also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I follow you on Telegram, and I remember seeing that your house was damaged in one of these drone attacks in June, and coming from a country that hasn't experienced war on our soil in generations, it's startling. It almost kind of reminded me of the black and white newsreel that I would see from the Battle of Britain in 1940. In fact, over my shoulder here, you can see it's that wing off of Shahed, or I think a Russian-made Duran 2, or Haran 2. I don't know how you would pronounce that, um, but it's right there, and to see something like that and know kind of that its mission was aimed at civilians, at friends like you who are just going about their business, was really pretty startling. So how often do you get notified now that there are drone attacks headed towards Kharkiv in November of 2025, and when you get an alert like this, how do you get it, and what do you do? How do you respond to that?
That's a very interesting question. I will just yeah, okay, I will open it on my Telegram on computer. We have a special Telegram chats and Telegram channels, and they kind of notify us about then drone is going closer to our border, and we have air alarms also, and we have it just during the day. We could have them 5 times a day, 12 times a day. We just we are dealing with it, and I don't look, and just sometimes I'm even wearing my headphones on the street. I think yeah, it is kind of dangerous. I know that I shouldn't do it, and I'm that could get me in danger, because I couldn't just hear a drone heading. Yep. For example, we have a lot of different Telegram channels, and I just open it, and every day we have nearly 30 messages about drones, but not every drone gets to the, for example, Kharkiv city center. They could go to Kharkiv area closer to Russia. Yep. And we also have anti-aircraft systems working, and they also help to land shahads, so they're not getting into the city. And you were asking about attacks in November. Yep. In October also, and recently we had a drone attack. I was sending you news, if I'm not mistaken. I was sending it to you about kindergarten attack. Yep, attack on private kindergarten, and it was in I would say it is city center. It is very close to the center, and the problem is that we study online. Nearly all of the schools they study online, and we also have underground schools. They are placed in, as I said, underground. In Ukrainian, we call it metro. I don't remember how it is called.
Yeah, that would be a good translation in English to the metro or the subway.
Oh yeah, subway. Yeah. So our mayor, he did underground schools, but there's not enough finances and not enough place to make all the schools underground, because we have a lot of children, teenagers, and usually, if we speak about teenagers, they just go to school online, and they go to school offline twice a week or 3 times a week. And if you speak about small children, we just don't have opportunity to. We can't rely on anybody. So I just wanted to say that kindergartens are not working. If you speak about public kindergartens, we also have private ones, but it is. I don't think it's kind of legal now, because they're not placed underground. They just work as usual. They are situated in usual buildings, and that's what happened. If I'm not mistaken, 1 week or 2 weeks ago, then drone just head directly into private kindergarten, and fortunately, nobody died. And I remember some people were injured, but the children, they are okay. So that's what I just wanted to say, is that you can't know who is going to be the next, and which building will be the next, which building will be the target. And you just live it and live with it, and trying to concentrate on your things, on your studying, on your work, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, life goes on. I remember seeing that. Interestingly enough, you sent me this tail fin back here, the swing off of a Shahed, and it arrived within a week of when that well-publicized and terrible attack on that kindergarten in the city center of Kharkiv happened. And you sent me that video, or a couple videos that you found on Telegram from first responders, where you see the destruction. The street is destroyed, the building is destroyed, there are cars that are smashed, and then the very last frame of the video, this first responder looks down and sees almost that identical fin and kicks it. And it's very, very shocking that in the year 2025, this is how supposedly civilized nation is conducting war. So you mentioned that you wear headphones on the street sometimes. What is it like when one of these drones comes in? Like, what do they sound like? What's the impact like?
Usually, drone attacks which we have experienced, usually they happen in the night, and sometimes they happen in the afternoon, but usually it is night, and you know that you are just disoriented. You can predict that you are going to experience it. So we have a basement in my building, in this building, and but it is not very deep, actually, and it's not. Let me just bunker. Yep. It is not equipped for hiding from bombs and from shads. It just makes you feel psychologically better. But actually, if we speak about engineering and physics, it will not help you if in case of direct. But usually, we just sit in a hallway here, and we're just checking our messages, like looking in these Telegram channels, Kharkiv Telegram channels, looking what other people say. Yep, sometimes people say, "Oh, I can hear it in this part of Kharkiv. I can hear in that part of Kharkiv." So it also helps you to predict the direction of the drone. And people just got used to it, and sometimes we just it is very interesting that sometimes people I just got used to it, and they go to window and trying to look for it. They even open the window, and can you see it? It also, if you speak about people who live on fifth floor and higher, they just could see all the Star Wars happening here, and some people are just also they film some videos of these drones. And yeah, you think, how can you do it? You better go to the hallway or to the basement. People just filming it, and they think that it will not happen to them. Yeah, so
What does it sound like when they're coming in?
kind of buzzing, and you also could differentiate drone from missile because they have different sounds, and people could understand what is the difference between it. You also could hear if the drone is loaded with a lot of TNT. Oh, how to say it? Yep. If it's like drone which mm, let me just if you speak about the drone with kind of TNT, and if you're speaking about drone which helps Russian intelligence,
Like reconnaissance?
yeah. So some drones are not really dangerous; they're just going through across the area, and they fly away. And some of them they have kind of TNT, and they are dangerous.
What's your reaction when you see some of these videos of individual civilians being singled out by these drones? I think I just saw one this morning from Kyiv Independent that showed two elderly civilians and their dog out on a walk. They even had a white flag they were waving, and the Russians hit them with the FPV drones and killed them, both the people and the dog. I mean,
Yes, it's very, very awful. I have seen, as far as I know, two videos of it. Also, video with a girl and the boy who was trying to carry her because she was hit and by the drone, and she had problems with her knees and with her legs, and he was carrying her. These are just disturbing images and videos, and but sometimes I just wanted to say, yep, about mental condition of all people who live near to Russian border and just hot cities. Sometimes I'm trying to not to how to say not to surf across all the Telegram channels or Instagram pages, because if you will see these videos and images every day, and it just sometimes you need to isolate from it. I don't say that we need to ignore it, of course, but sometimes you just need to have a break from it, because every day you see all these messages, and of course they are not positive. These are not positive messages.
yeah, it's just awful. Really a shock to the system. I'm shocked, and I'm thousands of miles away in the United States. So it's my understanding that Kharkiv, before the war, especially due to the proximity to Russia, was predominantly a Russian-speaking city and area, and had a pretty good population of people who felt pretty friendly or positively about Russia. Has that changed over the last 3 years of war?
Yeah, I like to speak on this topic. In Kharkiv, there were a lot of Russian-speaking people. Yeah, people who speak Russian, And um, also, I was speaking about the border with Russia, and here's one city called Belgorod, and a lot of people from Belgorod they were working in Kharkiv, and especially they were working on this big market. It is called Berabashova. It is not very popular now because it's nearly destroyed by Russians. But it was a big market of clothes, like all the things which you can buy here, and it was very big. And many people from Belgrade, from Russia, they were working here, and they had a business here. So, and now in Kharkiv, many people now prefer to speak Ukrainian language, and some of people speak Russian. But as I can say about myself, that I predominantly speak Russian in my family, with my friends, but it doesn't mean that, for example, I'm not a patriot, and that it doesn't mean that I don't like Ukrainian language. I can also speak it fluently. I study in 3 universities now, and of course we speak Ukrainian language here, and also lectures, practical lessons, they are delivered in Ukrainian language. Then you're visiting some supermarkets or usual markets, some stores. You're also being served like in Ukrainian language, and some people just answering in Russian. I mean, if you speak about customers, so some people answering in Ukrainian, and it's kind of big problem now because I had a lot of troubles with people who are from, for example, from west of Ukraine, and they can't stand Russian language, and if they find out that you're from, for example, from the east of Ukraine, they could discriminate you, and there's a lot of discrimination on people who speak Russian language. And usually, when I meet a new person, I try to speak Ukrainian because I don't know, I don't know the reaction of this person, and it could be bad. So I try to stick to Ukrainian language.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes good sense. If Kharkiv ends up being occupied by Russia, do you think you would still stay?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And actually, I have some friends who were on occupied territories. My family thinks that if your house, if your home is not destroyed, they would stay here. And if like everything is destroyed, I think it is understandable that people just go to the west, for example, of Ukraine or in Europe. But I also stick to this opinion that I don't want to leave my city, of course, and if something happens with home, um, and I think I will think about it. But at this point, I think that Russia doesn't have enough forces as they had in the beginning of the full-scale invasion, and I don't think that will happen. Like maybe you have seen some videos with Russian BMPs and tankers going across, especially Kharkiv cities. In the beginning of the war, nobody knew what is happening, and but now I think we are more certain about it that we are not going to leave Kharkiv.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I agree with you. You just see the amazing losses that the Russians are taking on the battlefield, both in their manpower as well as their armored vehicles. I mean, they've completely emptied out their stock of old Soviet armor, and yeah, and don't necessarily have the industrial strength at this point in 2025 to rebuild, this equipment at the rate that they would need. You mentioned the beginning of the war. What was that like? I mean, I imagine on February 21st, you go to bed and you're living in a peaceful, independent country. And on February 22nd, you wake up and you've got 200,000 Russians in your borders. What was that like? And what was your experience of that personally?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite questions also to discuss with Ukrainian people because every person has their own story. They are similar, but they are different in the same time. And I like to listen to them because it is a story of each person and they could tell you something new. And as for me, it was at 4 or 5 a.m. In the first second, we understood that, yeah, it is war. Um, at first, I was thinking that it was kind of fireworks, and then I just like called my friends and relatives, and of course they said, yeah, it is war. Um, as I remember, they have targeted airport and some other parts of the city. Yeah, the first strikes. So of course nobody was sleeping after it, and in the morning, yep, we went to some groceries to buy some groceries, some products, and we had a lot of queue. Near the shops and a lot of people on streets, and still we could hear the sound of artillery on the background, and of course everybody was disoriented and we couldn't understand what is happening and just tried to stick to other people. And I remember that we were so late that we couldn't buy meat in the shop, and but we haven't experienced any hunger. It was okay. It was just a panic of people, and it's also understandable that people were panicking so much, and they just bought a lot of groceries, a lot of fruits, and so on. The first night, also, I mean, the first night from 22nd to 24th of February, and it was awful because I had a huge panic attack, and I could hear missiles just flying across the city. And as you know, in the night, usually you're getting to feel everything more close to your heart, and because it's happening in the night, it is more depressing, and you can't realize what is happening. And of course we were sleeping on the floor because it was very dangerous to sleep on usual bed, what is standing now. And for a long time, maybe around half of the year, maybe I was sleeping on the floor, just like putting a blanket here, and because it was too dangerous sleeping in front of the window, and every day you were just thinking that it could be hit. So that's how it has started.
It's so interesting because so much of what you're saying, as far as how you protect yourself or try and shelter yourself from attack, reminds me, having grown up in the American Midwest, how we respond to tornadoes, where you get an alert on your phone or the sirens go off, and you go to a basement if you have a basement, or you go to a hallway without any windows on the inside of your house, where you'll be more protected. You're a young person, younger than me, um, in your early 20s, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so, I imagine you have a lot of friends who are serving in the military right now. What have they told you about, like, the Russians that they're fighting, and what kind of effect that's having on them as your friends? I mean, I can only imagine that they're different people now.
I still have one friend from engineering unit. As far as you can remember, yep, I was also making a fundraiser, donation raiser for them because he needed to buy a car. And actually, they have bought it. And I'm happy because they really need it. Um, so yeah, sometimes I speak with him. His name is Alexander, and I speak with him on phone or just chatting in WhatsApp. And I see that it affects kind of depressive. He was in Bakhmut, and it was winter, so he's kind of experienced in this way. But now he serves in engineering unit because also of his problems with his back and legs. And sometimes I speak with him. He's my very good friend, and we also help the unit with some kind of medications. Because my mom is a pharmacist, and sometimes we just donate them some kind of medications, and sometimes I just feel that um, I can do nothing, but I try to help him psychologically, trying to say that like we are proud of him and that we are with him. But it lasts so long. They don't have even have a rest from it, and of course it is a big impact on their mental condition. And that we also have some lectures about it, and we also have some kind of booklets which say that how could we psychologically help our friends or relatives and other people who serve in the Ukrainian army, and also well-known condition PTSD. Yep. Unfortunately, it also could be found like in civilian people, and also, of course, in military people. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, this is definitely traumatizing everybody that it touches, regardless of, military status. Um, so just for people out there, when you say group mates, you're talking about your classmates in your program. You're a medical student, yes?
Yeah, yeah. I studied pedagogical university at medical university, and now I'm also finishing my program at pharmaceutical university. Yep.
One thing I wanted to touch on, and I know I've asked you this before privately, but I just wanted to get your take on this, especially at the beginning of the war. There was all sorts of information that Ukrainians were Nazis and that there are just Nazis everywhere. Um, are there a lot of Nazis in Ukraine?
Yeah, interesting question. It is very deep question. I understand that it's somehow a joke. Yep, I understand it. But I just wanted to say that some people mistaken Nazis ideology or symbols with pagan symbols. For example, many of Ukrainian soldiers, they use some kind of pagan symbols like some runes and so on, but it is not connected to Nazi ideology. And some people from Russia, they try to uh, uh, just to bring it to Nazi ideology and say that that's why we are just bombing Ukraine because there's a lot of Nazis. But I would say that if we speak about right ideologies, yep, they exist in every country. They exist in European countries. They also exist in Russian country. They have some right-wing groups, ideologists, and I think it is one of the tools which they use to make a propaganda. Yep.
Hmm. Yeah. No surprise there. We'll wrap this up here, but I've got one more question for you, or just I want to hear your thoughts. What do you hope for the future?
Of course, every Ukrainian say wants um, that war stops and we are getting everything okay. But we also need to see the reality and to see that uh, if we speak about cities which are very close to Russian border, it is very risky to live here. And the thing is that we need to be prepared that if we have a conflict freeze, yep, we need to be prepared that um, it could happen again, and we have no guarantees that they will not do it like in 5 years, in 10 years. It's just geography. Yep. Um, what can we do if they are like 30 kilometers away from my city? Yep. We could do nothing with it. And I would say that I would prefer to stay in Kharkiv and maybe also continue business and I also want to have a cooperation with European people, with US people. I mean, telling them truth and also trying to spread real information and maybe to make these stories, real stories, um, like published, translated into different languages so people could know the truth.
Mhm. Definitely. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to talk with me.
Thank you too, and I hope it is not the last interview we're having, and not the last conversation we're having. I think um, we have a lot to discuss, and I have a lot to describe, to tell you. So I hope that we'll also have like this kind of interviews in future.
Definitely. Yeah, let's plan on it.